Attention everyone, I'm going to tell you a story and read you this new book called How the Grinch Lost Christmas. It's a sequel to the original story of his life. And here we go. Up high on Mount Crumpet, just the north of the Who's, a Who delivered the day's Whoville news. And the cave on Mount Crumpet was home of the Grinch, who sprung from his cave just enough, plus 1 inch, to stare down at Whoville from high above it. Tomorrow was Christmas, and speaking thereof it, my heart, grinned the Grinch, has grown to quite love it. The Grinch had been patiently waiting all year to celebrate Christmas and bring the Who's cheer. And to show every Who he was different now. I've changed, thought the Grinch, and I'll prove it. But how? How will he prove it? While eating his breakfast of Who hash on Ray, the newspaper there in the chair caught his eye. A contest in Whoville tomorrow at 3. To see who can make the most Christmassy tree. And he got an idea, a crafty idea. The Grinch got an awfully crafty idea. He laughed in his throat. I know just what to do. Then the Grinch grabbed a pencil and drew. With a plan in his hand, the Grinch hiked to Whowood, where he found the most Christmassy tree that he could, and he chopped at that tree with his tree chopping axe, till the tree was chopping fell down next to Max, his dog. Then they hiked their way home with the tree on their backs. On our cellar has all of the things we will use to start decorating our tree for the Who's. Grab ribbons, he shouted. Grab pouches of bows. Grab plenty of these and a big pile of those. Bring everything reddish and everything greenish and every last colorful thing in betweenish. I'll win. He was Grinchiously humming. Then, all of a sudden, he heard someone coming. Now, who could that be? The Grinch said with a sneer. He turned around fast, and then who should appeared right there in the hallway stood Cindy Lou Who, the sweetest of all of the Who's that he knew. Hello, she exclaimed. I have something to ask. I do hope it isn't a bothersome task. I've come here to ask a small favor to you to see. And if you have time, and it could, make one for me. The Grinch interrupted her tiny request. My dear, I reply, it would really do best to ask me tomorrow. On Christmas, you see, right now, I must finish my prize-winning tree. Must Lou appear to him. And here, they say, he guide her out. Well, perhaps I can help you, sweet Cindy Lou said, but the Grinch simply patted the Who on the head. Then he shooed her outside and replied, Now, don't be silly. Do run along home now. before it gets chilly. Throughout the whole day and late into the night, he work on that tree. Yeah, till that tree was just right. "I've done it," he shouted. "It's perfectly grand. I hope that is shows every who in the land. What a wonderful Christmassy spirit I found. I know in my heart that I'm sure to be crowned." Oh, he will have a crown on his head. Yeah, like a golden crown. At a quarter past dawn, with the sun rising fast, the Who's were awake. It was Christmas at last. The bells around Whoville were ringing and dinging. The Who's down in Whoville were merrily singing. The Grinch ran outside and cried, "Christmas is here!" at the sound of that ringing sing-along cheer. And when the time came for the Grinch to depart, he loaded the sleigh and took it off like a dart. Slid it down, 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 down to the Whoville town square. Constance, the Grinch heard the mayor declare, "It's time for the judge to judge all your trees. The rest of you Who's have a seat, if you please." The trees were lined up from the tallest to smallest. The Grinch's tall tree was the tallest of allest. And down at the end, to the far, far, far right, was Sneaky Lou's with a smaller height. Yeah. She's a much smaller height as the tall far right. Well, when the mayor announced who had taken the third place, the Grinch felt his Christmas-filled heart start to race. "And now," said the mayor, "without further ado, the lucky contest. Who placed number 2 lives high on Mount Crumpet. We are thrilled that he's here. The Grinch wins the second place trophy this year." The Grinch felt shocked as his heart turned ice cold. He felt it start shrinking, and it told. And that there in the square, all the Who's were near it. They were near it, all certain they saw it, and sure they could hear it. The moment of the Grinch lost his Christmassy spirit. His arms started itching. His legs started twitching. Then both of his eyes started twitching and itching. And that Christmas-filled heart, well, it shrank and shrunk down. "I've been robbed," the Grinch snarled, "and I'm through with this town." And that Grinch stuffed his tree and its ramshackle sleigh, and then he lunged it and tugged it and hauled it away. As Max tried his hardest to get him to stay, the Who's were all speechless, unsure what to say to him. Oh no, he was. The Grinch climbed and climbed as his heart grew much more frozen. While back in the contest, a winner was chosen. Today, on the merriest day in the land, the mayor declared with his Who horn in hand, "I give you our winner. She's not more than 3. It's Cindy Lou who has made the best tree." The Who girl had asked everyone who there that day to make her an ornament she could display. To celebrate Whoville and everyone in it, she entered the contest, not thinking she'd win it. And here, then the Grinch heard the mayor from high on the peak. Then Cindy Lou Who grabbed the Who horn to speak. I wanted to make all of Whoville a tree, with ornaments each of you, who's made for me. But there is one ornament missing, you see. The whole town of Whoville was there on each limb, except for the Grinch, so she called out to him. Now please, Mr. Grinch, I saved you a spot. You're someone we who's like an awfully lot. This tree is for Whoville. You're a part of it, too. I hope you can hear me, said Cindy Lou. And like that, Cindy Lou's voice stopped the Grinch in his tracks. He looked down at Whoville, then looked down at Max. Yeah, Max. Yeah. Of course, he did. I thought, the Grinch puzzled, a prize-winning tree would prove to the Whos what today means to me. I show them for certain I truly belong, but perhaps I was wrong and belong all along. And maybe, just maybe, we all win instead. By being together at Christmas, he said. And there on Mount Crumpet, if you had been near it, you would have been able to see it and hear it. The moment his heart grew a few sizes more, two more than his heart had grown ever before. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch and his dog whizzed back down that sled. Then the Grinch placed an ornament on the smallest tree. Then he lifted it high so the whole town could see. The Whos all hurried, and they jumped to their feet as the Grinch grinned and said, "Now our tree is complete." Then the mayor declared, "We have one thing to do to make it official to Cindy Lou Who. You wouldn't do the honors, would ya?" He pointed and said, "And the Grinch." Yeah, will you do the honors? Yes. And finally, he himself placed the crown on her head as a queen of the Whos in Whoville. He crowned it on her head. Yes. The end.